Welcome into the CHGO Bears Podcast. Hope everybody enjoyed their Bears-less weekend. It is Monday. We are ready to roll. Adam Hoge, Mark Carman, Herb Howard with you.
What's good? What's happening, good people?
Living the dream. Let's do this. Happy Monday. Good to see y'all.
Y'all too.
We're going to talk best and worst case scenarios for the Bears the rest of the season. Couple things to tell you about, though, off the top. One is we are going to have another watch party this coming Sunday.
Oh, my gosh.
Bears. Let's go. South Side.
Yep.
Living the dream.
Let's go.
Let's go.
We're going to Oak Lawn. All the details up at ALLCITY/events.
Let's go.
And then we also are going to have our long-awaited next happy hour.
Cheers.
And Carm is going to lead it.
We are.
Because I'm telling him that right now.
Great.
Cheers.
I've been wanting to lead a happy hour since we started doing happy hours. I've never been granted the privilege, so if this is a real thing, I'm excited about it.
This is all you, and that'll be Tuesday, the 21st. So not this coming Tuesday, but next week, a week from Tuesday.
Giving you plenty of time to plan.
Yes.
Clear your calendar. We're all going to hang out, and we're going to talk about the 3-9 or 5-7 Bears.
Yep.
You think they're going to split? All right, fine. 4-8.
Wait, isn't it next week? Oh, wait, when is it?
It's next week. It's only one game.
It's just one
that.
game, dude.
Right.
The Lions on Sunday.
4-7.
Watch party.
What you're going
It's a
for,
week
right?
from tomorrow. Yeah. Right. Whoops.
There we go.
You got
4-7. There you go. Let's
You
be
got
optimistic on a Monday. Great.
We are going to try to be optimistic because we're going to give our best and worst case scenarios. We're going to be optimistic and pessimistic at the same time. Should I start?
Sure, we're going to jump right in.
You want to go positive or negative?
I would love to hear your positive Monday after or during a mini bye. No Bears game on Sunday. Let's hear your optimism, Hoge, after you got knocked out of the state playoffs.
I was going to
Hey,
I'm sorry.
No.
that's real brother stuff right there, man.
Just waiting to do that, weren't you?
Well, I think he was
I feel bad for Hoge.
Yeah, he was trying to say in a not-so-nice way that the Hoge spirits are not necessarily extremely high today. All right, so I'm going to try to stay positive. I'm going to try to stay optimistic. So if it drips into negative Bears,
Isn't there a 24-hour rule on that, losing the game?
It's
So I had this
24
conversation
hours.
with my wife last night. That definitely does not apply when the season's over.
To the end of the season, no.
Holy shit.
You can
I
carry
tried
that
to make
for-
it 24 hours, and like last night I'm like, nope, still want to cry.
No,
This is terrible.
You carry that for a while.
Man.
You carry that into next season if you want.
Shower this morning, tears.
Oh, that's
Not good. Yeah.
You
So
literally
we're-
cried in the shower?
For about 2.5 seconds.
You had a 2.5-second tear?
And then I slapped myself in the face and said, we got to do work today.
Are you serious?
Sure wasn't shampoo?
That's the greatest thing I've ever
There was
heard.
a
That's
brief-
behind the curtain on Hoge, literally and figuratively.
There's a brief moment where I considered not working today.
wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Then I figured, no, we got to get back to work. We got to get back to the grind. Bears season's not over.
I congratulate.
Full out grief.
I congratulated Hoge yesterday because, we love doing our jobs here, and this, means a lot to us. But I'm never crying in the shower, even when they're getting after me on Reddit or wherever else.
Wait, really? I feel like you're a frequent crier, is what I would think.
Not.
He cries on the train.
I cry from things that like really get in. Like if I watch The Natural right now, I'd probably cry when Roy Hobbs hit a bomb or something along those lines. But
I'm not.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, Hoge's
No,
feeling
Eric's
it.
got it right here in the chat. He says the worst part of seeing your kids upset. That's what kills you.
That's 100% the worst
my
part, especially your seniors. That's by far the worst part of a season-ending loss.
Yeah,
no doubt.
And
then you replay everything that happened and what you could have did and how you could have did, and that's what lingers. That's what carries you into next week. And it's like, oh, I should have did this, or we should have done that, and we should have, and that's what gets you crying in the shower.
And I see my guy Hippie Nerd. I've never seen you before, Hippie Nerd. Real men cry. I am pro crying. I am pro emotion, and which is what I was celebrating with Hoge yesterday when we were texting. I'm like, dude, this matters to you. You signed up for something that is in you. It's moving you. That is a sweet thing to have in your life, even though it doesn't feel great right now. I think that's awesome.
And that's the truth. And I mean, trust me, I told every single one of our kids, especially the seniors after the game, that it's not going to feel like it now, but I mean, they're going to look back on
and be proud.
They've changed the program forever, and it's that part's super cool, but it doesn't make the loss feel any better right now.
Listen, I still feel it. 1996, Windy Hill intramurals going down to the Iowa football team, 47-28. We led 2-0 to start the game when I beat Tim Dwight off the dribble. That's right, NFL player Tim Dwight Herb. Boom, see you later, Tim. Layup, good, 2-0, Windy Hill. Lost by 19. Still think about it once a week.
Well, is that who Coach Hightower thinks Trent Taylor is?
Good call.
So that was a good transition. We did carve out some time towards the end of the show. We're going to talk about some worse sports losses because I had some.
Some brutal ones.
Yeah, it's worth talking about a little bit. But we with this little mini bye here and some time to reflect over the weekend on this Bears season and what's still ahead. 7 games, some winnable games. Also 2 really tough games against the Lions in there as well.
The Minnesota game is looking increasingly unwinnable.
Yes. That Minnesota game ain't going to Cleveland to face that Browns defense.
That Browns defense, that U.S. Bank Stadium crowd, and that emerging Vikings offense.
Yeah.
Even without Justin Jefferson.
Vikings just won 5 in a row, and they get Justin Jefferson back.
Yeah, it's going to Detroit, then going there, and coming back for some more of Detroit before you go see that defense in Cleveland. Not ideal.
Josh Dobbs is Patrick Mahomes. I refuse to believe anything else. I just think that Mahomes is playing 2 games a week now. He's just somehow able to show up in Minnesota, do that there too. Yeah, it's a tough schedule. But that's why you just got to get close the way Flus is talking about. I can't wait to hear from Flus at 1 o'clock today. There's going to be nothing between this team walking into Detroit on Sunday, ready to shock the world when we're sitting there in Oak Lawn hanging out with you going for win number 4.
I believe that.
All right, here's my best case scenario. All right. Number 1, Panthers secure the number 1 pick for the Bears.
Okay.
So that's still number 1.
Yes.
Number 2, Justin Fields earns a 5th-year contract extension, that 5th-year option being picked up. Again, this is best case scenario, right? We're going – doesn't mean it's always realistic scenario. It's what is the best thing for the Bears going forward into 2024. And I'm still a firm believer that if Justin Fields can play well enough in these last 7 games, you're in a much better place if you do not have to draft a rookie quarterback, even if that rookie quarterback's Caleb Williams. You can draft stud left tackle, Marvin Harrison Jr. Now you're rolling with Justin Fields. So best case scenario, those are your top 2 things. Also, because you have the benefit of this Panthers pick, we don't have to have these arguments this year
about tanking
and whether or not you need to learn how to win, which even if you were right last year that the best thing was the Bears ended up with number 1 pick, they're still in a position right now where they need to figure out how to win. Like you're hearing that from players even. So I think best case scenario is, again, not realistic scenario, but best case scenario is they find a way to win 4 games down the stretch. They go 4-3, which means they would have been 7-6 in their last 13 games. They get to that 7-win mark that we talked about.
Carm prediction, 7.
There you go, Carm.
Lawrence 2.
Yeah.
There you go, buddy.
Sure, yeah.
Now, in a more specific, back to players, Tevin Jenkins stays healthy, earns an extension. Big piece of the offensive line secured with Darnell Wright going forward. And then Gervon Dexter emerges in these last 7 games as a legitimate 3 technique that you can have going forward. Again, maybe all this is pie in the sky a little bit, but I said best case scenario. And if you're really trying to feel good about, going into 2024, if those 5 things came true, I think you're sitting in a really good spot.
I agree 100%. That is absolutely the best case scenario. I mean, my list it doesn't much deviate from yours at all in terms of Panthers give you that number 1 pick. Now, the only place my list was a little bit different than yours. I was like, I want Justin Fields to play like unanimously. Like everybody's all in agreement. He's played well enough. He should be the guy going forward. And so, if he goes out there on Sunday in Detroit and he's, 285, 2 touchdowns, no picks, right? And he continues along that type of trajectory, but they do lose to the Lions. They still don't leave Ford Field with the W. And then he follows up that performance with a similar performance out in Minnesota, but they don't leave US Bank with a W. I'm okay with that, right? I'm okay with him having games like he had Washington, Minnesota, even though they split those games. I'm okay with that. So if he plays unanimously better, where everybody there's a consensus like, okay, he's the guy going forward, that's obviously best case scenario, not having to hit the reset button on quarterback.
Now, someone asked in the chat, which 4 games are the Bears winning? Fair question.
You got to go Falcons. You got to beat the Falcons and the Cardinals if you got a chance.
Yeah.
And Green Bay.
Yeah, that would be my 3rd game.
Yeah, I think under the scenario I just painted is you're probably winning the last 3, where you beat the Cardinals on Christmas Eve, you beat the Falcons, 2 warm weather teams coming north on holidays. Neither team's that great.
Yeah.
And then, although that could be an interesting game against the Cardinals in terms of
seeding and whatnot.
Someone said we needed to.
Do you really want to win that game?
Right. Someone in the chat was like, we need to lose that game. We need to throw that game.
I'll go next. You keep going.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, it depends on where they both are record-wise. I mean,
and then I think you got to win probably that Vikings game or somehow steal one of the Lions games.
Yeah, you got to win one of those 3 to get to 4, because the other 3 you aren't winning 2 of those 3. You aren't beating the Lions twice or beating them and the Vikings. I think you get one of those 3. It could be this Sunday. It could be either of the other 2. Yep. But I think one of 3 is the best case scenario there, and then you got to win the other 3.
Shout out to Kyle Jennings in the chat, not understanding the segment. Expecting 7 wins is an outrageous meatball take.
We're doing best case scenarios here, Kyle.
No one's expecting that, and I agree with you, Kyle. But that's not the segment. We can do meatball takes. We've done that before.
Oh, we do. I think that for me, I at this point, I'm like, you can hold the wins. Give me improvement and hold the wins. And I get your point. They do need to learn how to win. And I do think that it is infectious and it's contagious. And I think it gets to a point where you expect to lose every time you take the field.
See, and that's where I would argue with you a little bit. I think at some point you do have to, as you're trying to build a program, whatever level you're at, you have to see the W's start to come. You have to know that you can do it.
Let me ask you this to that point. Can you definitively say Justin has shown me enough improvement to go forward without those wins? Or do you need to see him
I need to see him win
go
games.
Down and win a game?
Yeah, I need to see him win games. I need to know that if Tyson Bagent can win
2
go
games.
2-2 in a 4-game stretch, that you can at least, hover around 500 the rest of this year. Go 3-4. I also look at the Lions last year, and I think now we can definitively say that like the momentum they carried into the offseason greatly helped them.
Yeah, because they started 1-6.
They were 1-6.
Yeah.
I think they finished 7-8.
Yeah,
right. They went on a great tear to end the season, and they ended it with a huge win at Lambeau Field to knock the Packers out of the playoffs. That was their Super Bowl last year.
They had to finish like 9-8 or something like that.
How about Dan?
Yeah, I'm sorry, not 7-8. Yeah.
How about Dan?
I think they were 8-9.
Yeah, okay.
How about Dan Campbell going for it on 4th down in a tie game late yesterday to win the football game?
Yeah, man.
That was bad.
Dan freaking Campbell, man.
Yeah.
He's got it where it counts for sure.
Sam Cassell situation.
Yeah, exactly. He's got it where it counts, and I think that's it's reflective of his team, right? Attitude reflects leadership. You can see his team playing with that, like they absolutely believe we gonna win this game. And to your point, I think it absolutely started in 22, right? To where they started out 1-6, and then you end up, winning, 7 of 9 or whatever it was, and now you go into next season like, now we got this.
I mean, the Rams won a Super Bowl, but the Jared Goff thing looks pretty damn good for the Lions right now. That dude is very comfortable in Detroit, and that offense is humming.
And they slayed the Dragon last game of the season too. They went to Lambeau, right, and
Big
ripped
win
Aaron
for
Rodgers.
Bears happen to go to Lambeau at the end of the season,
Yeah.
by the way.
By the way, David Montgomery over 100 yards again yesterday for the third time this season, busting out 75-yard bombs.
He's a really good back, man. He's got just enough speed to take it the distance. We've seen that here before. Who would
Not
take it?
according to Braggs.
Who did he take it? Who did he take it 80 yards against at home? Was that?
Yeah, that was
Who was that? Like the Broncos? No, who was that?
I'm forgetting. I know you're talking about
It was
that.
like the first play of the game. He took it 80 yards to the crib.
Yeah.
Braggs is going.
Mr. Myrtle here, $10 super chat, says, am I taking crazy pills? The best case scenario for the Bears organization is to lose out, reset the quarterback clock, get a coach who can run a modern defense, and form a sentence that makes sense. So I could
Mr.
already
Myrtle.
I feel like I'm an expert at reading Mark Carman's body language. I do not know what he's about to say, but I feel like he agrees with you, Mr. Myrtle. What is your best case scenario?
Mr. Myrtle, you're teeing up what I think is just obvious because being in the middle sucks, and Hoge's scenario sucks. You beat terrible teams at the end of the year to get some false sense of like we're going somewhere. Oh, we beat the Cardinals and the Falcons and the Packers and we won 7 games. That would honestly make me puke. Teams that are out of it and your offense looks good and the defense looks good, it'd be just fake. So I got the best case scenario is the Bears lose football games, period. Panthers 1 pick, Bears 2 pick. Give yourself the full option to reset the whole thing. You're going to get a new quarterback. Yes, you're going to get a new head coach. Most likely, I think you're going to end up staying with the same general manager, but we are going full reset. I understand that you do need to win football games, by the way. That does need to happen, but it doesn't need to happen when you're going to reset the whole thing, which for the first time ever, the Bears could actually have the full reset if things go sideways. So for me,
That's assuming they're going to reset it.
that's why we need to go sideways, which is why the Bears are at best get to 4 wins here.
Best case scenario, Bears are out on Flus and out on Fields.
Yeah.
Yes.
See, I could not disagree with you more.
You want Flus and Fields back.
I want this organization to stop having to reset everything constantly.
But
we're going to do it again. They're going to hire wrong people again. It's going to happen. It's just going to all happen again.
Okay, but you do need to get it right versus like hoping and praying that somehow this thing is going to morph into something different. What gives you tell me what gives you confidence that Matt Eberflus is going to morph into somebody that you really want to be the head coach of your football team. Not the nice guy, not somebody you want to run into on Halloween or run into at Wrigley Field in the middle of the summer at some country music concert or run into at the gym. What gives you any inclination he can do that?
The defense over the last month and a half.
The best answer you could give. They have turned the corner. That's fair.
I mean, I don't want to.
I love that. The best answer you could give.
I don't want to be
in
back
this dismissive tone.
Yes, well, I don't know what
I don't want to be backed in the corner like I'm some Flus defender here, but that's where you're putting me. But I'm just like,
I am putting you in Flus defender corner.
yeah. Well, okay, but let's say in our best case scenario that I painted, that they do find a way to win 4 games here down the stretch. Like, that's basically the team we thought they were going to be this year.
And they,
Win 7 wins.
And they draft 1 in 13, 1 in 14.
Like,
Right.
you got 2 more picks to add to what has been turned around. You still have all the financial flexibility that Ryan Poles, been trying to give you. Now they have Montez Sweat. They have a pass rusher. Like, I think if we're going to sit here, though, and just dismiss that any progress has been made is not accurate either.
Okay, where do you think we've seen progress? I'm trying to think that through on the fly right now. But
the number 1 run defense in the league.
Defense,
right. I
Which
agree.
was porous last year.
I agree, but
which is a big part.
I agree. However, I'm just so focused on the Bears having an offense that can win in the National Football League that I guess right now in that moment
The irony of
I still don't think the defense is great. We still can't get to the
How you
quarterback.
say that, but also say you want to hit the reset button at quarterback.
Because
when you have the option to say, because this is all hypothetical, you have the option to say the quarterback that we have proves that he is good enough.
Right, but so the Bears didn't draft a quarterback last year incorrectly. Is being bared out as C.J. Stroud just continues to light up the NFL. But they didn't draft one last year because there was no consensus number one quarterback, but there was next year in Caleb Williams. And then here comes Brian Baldinger on the show. I haven't seen anybody like Caleb Williams. When he was in high school, I knew this guy was going to be the number one overall pick. He's going to be there. Now people are starting to talk themselves into like that Caleb is not this and not that. Like, well, okay. I would love to find out exactly what he is in a Bears uniform and try to hit a home run.
The fundamental flaw that you have or anyone else has in arguing that it's best for the quarterback to just suck so you know definitively that you need to move on is that you then can't trade him.
Okay, but how's this?
There is no scenario that a Bears fan should be rooting for Justin Fields to be bad the rest of the year.
We get nothing from
that. That doesn't help you in any way.
How's this? Okay, let me change my scenario for you. Fields plays well, they lose.
That's where I'm at. I'm kind of in between where y'all are at. Like,
and if they get the number one pick, then I am drafting Caleb Williams and I'm pairing them to. You guys can they can duel it out, and whoever doesn't work out, then
I'm drafting Caleb Williams. I'm trading Justin.
No. Well, okay, then,
unless under your scenario where Justin's just bad and you can't really get anything.
You don't take both of those dudes to camp either way. I can't see a scenario where I would take both of those dudes to camp. What I do see is just to be kind of in between where y'all at. I'm with you on getting the number 1 and 2 pick. That sounds phenomenal to me. But
you want Fields to play well. And
I want Fields. I want to have the quarterback question answered when we do that. And so he plays well. But yeah, we do.
That would be best.
Lose some games. That's best for me. Like we got this question answered. And we still get the draft capital. Now we can go get Marvin Harrison and a left tackle or a like whatever. You know what I mean?
Listen, you want to go best case scenario number 2 for me. Fields plays great. They lose out. They do exactly that. That'd be fine. That would be outstanding. I sign me up for that one. I just don't think that's going to happen. But if it does, that'd be sweet.
That's the thing about this exercise. There are competing interests here, right? Yeah. Right there's this for at least for my scenario anyway. Mm-hmm. Like there's this. I'm all in on Justin Fields. Have been right. Yeah. But I also would love to have 1 and 2 because I want Marvin Harrison Jr. And I don't know that 1 and 13 puts you in a position. I mean, they have the first pick and the 13th pick. I don't know if they have the ability to get Marvin Harrison Jr. unless you're just like, we'll pull the trigger on him at 1, or maybe you can move back to 2 or somebody just wants the quarterback, whatever. But I don't know. I don't know that you can do that.
You can in that scenario, you could do a Mitchell Trubisky level trade with whoever has number 2 to so they can move up and get their guy, and then you can draft your wide receiver if you want. That's just such a
you painted yourself into such a corner. Like even going back to what Hoge was just saying, they're already in that box where there is very little leverage on a Justin Fields trade. Like right now, they're in it just by not moving him a couple weeks ago. So even if he plays well. It's like, okay, he plays well, then he's going to be your quarterback, so you are not going to draft Caleb or whomever. So I don't need to make this trade with you, right? If I'm at 2 and we got 1, I'm not trading with the Bears to go for number 1, unless there's somebody else trying to jump over you.
Someone else is coming for it.
Sure.
Let me get my best deal. I'm trading this pick. 2, you want 1? Come and get it.
Come get it. Otherwise, I'm gonna give it to 3 or 4, and then they're gonna take your quarterback.
Yeah, and then you're gonna get the second quarterback. Then I'll get my wide receiver at 3.
How far can we drop? Thank you.
Yeah.
How far can we drop to get Marvin Harrison Jr.? Is it 2 or is it 3?
Oh, I think it's definitely 3.
I think it's 3 because both those quarterbacks could go 1, 2.
Okay.
I'm not saying that's a lock, but
I don't want to see that kid go off the board 1 pick before us.
Oh yeah, but that's gonna be what happens because. That's what happens. That's just what happens.
We do have a lot of supers about best case scenarios if you want to get into these right now.
We got to take an ad break.
Oh, let's do that.
And then there's good segue to worst case scenario too. Something you guys were just talking about. But hey, want to tell you about Empire today because they give you shop at home convenience, the right product for your needs, quick and professional installation, and a low price guarantee. Empire today is the best place to get new flooring, so they, of course, have copycats. Those copycats cannot beat Empire on quality, service, and speed. So they advertise low-quality products that Empire won't carry. They won't promise the lowest prices because anyone who does that is putting flooring in your home that they wouldn't put in theirs. Empire keeps shopping for floors simple with a curated product selection. Their philosophy is to help you find what you need, not overwhelm you with thousands of choices and substitutes. You can use their virtual floor designer, which is a great way to see how new floors will look in any space. They service their own warranties. If an issue does arise, just call Empire. They service all warranties themselves. You won't have to track down a manufacturer's phone number. Schedule a free in-home estimate today. All listeners can receive a $350 off discount when they use promo code CHGO. Restrictions apply. See EmpireToday.com/CHGO for details.
588-2300
Empire
Today.
It's well done.
Well done, guys.
Shout out to our friends at Midtown Athletic Club. This place is the place, and I expect to meet you in the steam room at Midtown so we can have a deep. I do.
You always take it there.
Why can't we have a nice steam? Why can't we do
you
a nice
just read
sauna?
the ad read without?
Well, because
I love steam rooms.
I do too, but he makes it creepy.
Yeah, I don't want to meet Carm there.
there's no creep. There's no nothing.
I've been in a steam room with Carm before.
Thank you.
It was slightly creepy.
You lying. 4 locations. We got Palatine in the northwest burbs, Bannockburn on the north shore, Willowbrook southwest suburbs, and then Midtown Athletic Club and Hotel in the middle of Bucktown and Lincoln Park, where
Who's going to meet me in Bannockburn? Let's go.
I would
Play Carm and me in tennis, 2-on-2.
Let's go Dubs. Let's have it. By the way, Midtown Palatine, they're launching a multi-million-dollar transformation of the club. It's going to be complete in early 2024, so you can lock in favorable rates right now if you join before the end of the year. By the way, Midtown Palatine before that was already sweet. I've won many a high-level tennis match at Midtown Palatine, so I can't imagine what that place is going to be. That it's awesome, the outdoor there.
Find high level.
Yeah, high level. I mean, this is the nicest fitness club that you're going to be in. It's the nicest fitness club that I've been in, and yes, something for the entire family, by the way. Childcare included with memberships, which is a huge perk for those of you looking to get your health on and also have your kids be well taken care of during it. The super luxe locker rooms, the wet and dry saunas, premium amenities, and then the indoor and the outdoor pool. Quite the scene at that pool, by the way.
Yeah,
that's a good scene.
Nice scenery there.
Speaking of scenes, it was well featured in The Killer, the new David Fincher film that just came on Netflix over the weekend. I watched. I was like, hey, that's Midtown, isn't it?
Yeah.
They didn't call it that, but yeah.
Yoga for the zen, boxing for if you need to duke it out with Braggs, cross-training, group exercise, best tennis courts. This is what you want to do right now. Go to midtown.com/CHGO. Midtown.com/CHGO. Find out more and tour the Midtown Athletic Club nearest you. Seriously, just go take the tour.
Sounds like everything.
It's worth it. Tell them that you need a couple guest passes. Maybe they'll hook you up. I think they do. I'm not sure exactly, but take the tour. It's worth it. You'll see what I'm talking about. Midtown.com/CHGO.
All right, before we get to these super chats, I want to map out my worst case scenario, just so people understand. Like, I'm not denying that we're trying to thread a needle here, okay? Because part of my worst case scenario is that the Bears win 2 to 3 games, and the Panthers also win, 2 to 3 games. And fall out of the top 2, not just top 1, but top 2. So
that's not good.
Also on this list, the Packers end up with a higher draft pick than the Bears.
That'd be a nightmare.
Which is on the table. I don't know about the Panthers pick, but they could definitely get in between the 2 picks that the Bears might have.
Which could happen if the Bears beat the Packers last week of the season. That'd be a nightmare.
It's on the table too.
Now that'd be interesting, right? We get there and that draft position's on the line, and Bear Nation is like, let the Packers win.
But also, you can get your first win against the Packers in how many days, Carm? You were doing the math on that.
1,700 and something at last count.
Yeah, no, you take the L. If it's between Marvin Harrison or one meaningless dub, you take the L.
Yeah, I'm with you. Then when it comes to Justin Fields, for me, it's Justin Fields fails to stay healthy.
Yes.
Okay, it's not because him not playing well is one thing, but like if you don't even get a good evaluation here, then you're just sort of in this murky territory where his trade value is not extremely high either. Like, that doesn't help you.
Right.
So,
and it leaves the possibility open that he ends up in Atlanta or Arizona and becomes a perennial Pro Bowler without you ever having an opportunity to fully evaluate him.
There you go. And then I also threw in here Montez Sweat fails to get to double-digit sacks. He needs 3.5. If he doesn't get 3.5 the rest of the way, that trade's not going to look great. Although I'm optimistic about it so far.
Yeah.
And then, I mentioned in the best case scenario, Tevin Jenkins stays healthy, earns an extension. On the flip side, let's say that doesn't happen. Let's say Braxton Jones, struggles to stay healthy here, and really you end the season and you feel like you have one long-term answer on your own line, and that is Darnell Wright.
Right.
So that's all for me. Worst case scenario.
I went. The Bears win 3 or 4 games and miss the playoffs. So similar to your best, I'm saying that's going to be a worst case because just what are you doing at 7-10? Fields plays up and down. He's great. He's bad. He's great. He's bad. You're just sitting here like, what? Well, he was good against the Cardinals. He wasn't great against the Lions. He was good against the up and down continues. The defense wins you games. Like, you're not scoring, but the defense continues to evolve, which would be sweet. But I wouldn't consider that built to last. And you're just winning games basically that you shouldn't win because a la the Carolina game. And then I put in injuries to Tevin and Brisker. For me, like Tevin staying healthy has been sort of forgotten about and is a really great player, and the fact that he started the year injured and has been injured his entire career. So him getting injured again at the end of the season, that would really hurt. And the Brisker situation just feels super tenuous because every time he hits somebody, I get nervous. Yeah. Literally every time. And that guy, when healthy, is a game changer for the Bears defense. And the concussion thing and the concerns there are real and increasing.
He was on my worst, so I'll start there as well. You don't want to go into the offseason with that as a question mark, right? Because if he's right, then that question is answered, and it's absolutely yes. But if he has more injuries, especially concussions, where he's next 7 games, he misses 3 or 4 of those, I don't know how you can go into next season confident that you have your strong safety position answered. Right now, that creates another problem. You have to answer that problem, and I don't think that answer is on the current roster right now. You also got the same thing going on with Eddie Jackson, right?
Yep.
I don't know how you move forward into next season unless he's able to play, 8 games straight to close the season, and that foot. Anytime he plants it, you just never know if he's not going to be gone. So, but I'm with you on Jaquan Brisker for the very same reason, in terms of it being a question mark going into the offseason. Justin Fields plays anything other than unanimously good, right? Like whether it's injuries or poor performance, anything that causes the Bears to have to reset at quarterback is not a good thing. It is the worst case scenario. And I don't care how much you like Caleb Williams or Drake May or Michael Penix or any of them dudes, right? Shout out to all of them. But the Bears having to hit reset on quarterback is so much further away in terms of negative than Justin Fields just taking this thing and running with it, because now you got to address that before you can address all these other things that you got to address. Also, a worst case scenario. I love what y'all did with Tevin Jenkins on the worst and on the best. Tevin Jenkins is a stud. Him being healthy matters. Him not being healthy doesn't matter. I mean, it's not a good thing for y'all. So, Justin Fields, Jaquan Brisker, Tevin Jenkins. Last thing on worst case scenarios. The Bears split. The Bears end up with, or they go 3-7, right? Or 3-4. I mean, right? You can't do that, because I need to know if we're on the right direction with coaching as much as anything. Even as much as Justin Fields, I feel like I can watch the game and say Justin Fields is absolutely improving. He's fine. But this coaching thing, man, like if they continue to split down the middle, or the defense is okay and the offense is like, are we going with this or not? And I'm not even advocating for one or the other at the moment, right? I was week four. I was completely done with them. Whatever, right? They've gone 500 or so since then. I don't even know if I'm saying I want them out, but I definitely want to be sure about it by the time the season's over.
Well, what's going to be fun about this is we can revisit this when the season's over, 7 games from now, and kind of see what ended up happening. I think in terms of reality, I think they're going to have two really hard decisions to make at the end of the year. The head coach and the quarterback.
For real.
And I don't think it's going to be obvious. I think we're going to be sitting here maybe with the head coach and maybe a little bit more obvious, but I'm not convinced it's going to happen. Like, those are two different things. And you're talking about a guy 2 years into however long his contract is, money on the back end. At least he probably doesn't have Jimbo Fisher's buyout.
Whew. I knew that was going to be a problem at some point.
Overall, at least right now, I don't have like some huge problem with Flus. I guess like it's more
That's
so
different from 15 minutes ago.
It's more so the style of play, dude. It's more so like, can they get a system? And it's partly on him, which is why I want the whole thing reset.
Yeah.
But it's more so like, how are you playing offense? Who are you? What are you doing?
No, I'm with you 100%. Like, how do you want to go about winning football games?
Right.
And that was something I gave them credit for last year, as opposed to 21 in Nagy's last year, where you didn't have any idea of how they wanted to win football games. I thought at least last year you had an idea of how they wanted to win football games. Now, whether they were capable of doing that is a separate question. Right. But how do you want to go about winning the game? That needs to be clear. I think they've got so many running backs. I'm not pressed about none of them. Right? I don't like Khalil Herbert and Deontay Foreman and Travis Homer, Roshan John. I'm not pressed about none of them. It's fine. Like, whoever, it'll be okay.
Well, those guys have been great. Herbert's 5.3 a carry. Foreman's 4.3.
Khalil Herbert is his own worst enemy, right? He is literally the reason why running backs don't get paid. And so while he's coming up on an extension, it's like, yeah, you're the reason they don't give running backs extensions, though. You're a 6th-round pick who led the league in yards per carry. You know what I mean? And then you get Roshan Johnson, draft him in the 4th round, and everybody's like, he's going to be the next Walter Payton. And so, like, every time you do this, it's like, yeah, we don't need to overpay this position. We'll just keep putting somebody else there, and they'll be more than productive, which I agree with. But I love the secondary, and I'm off topic a little bit, just rambling, but the secondary – I was thinking about this the other day. It's perfect. I don't need to invest in the secondary anymore if we can stay healthy, right?
But I think Eddie Jackson's
other than Eddie Jackson. That's the only place that I think
that's
that you need to.
That's why it's so important Brisker stays healthy, because if you have to replace both safeties,
yeah, you need Jaquan. But Bojack, love Bojack. When he's playing at his best, he could be one of the best in the game. But I just don't know how you can depend on that foot to hold up. And I think you keep Elijah Hicks around for that reason for as long as you can. But if you can upgrade that position with a game changer via the draft or free agency, I think you're gonna have to go ahead and do that. And again, I'm a huge Bojack fan, but like, just any given step could be one that costs him a few weeks.
I mean, it feels like if he comes back, it's going to be on a very team-friendly vet deal that he just wants to be here and, hey, my dream is to win as a Bear, and I'll take less because I've already made enough, and these are my guys. But otherwise,
this is last year?
Yes. Otherwise, he's out the door.
Well, I mean, look, Eddie Jackson and Cody Whitehair, I think on most other teams would have been cap casualties last offseason, this past offseason, and they weren't because the Bears weren't in a position where they had to cut guys like that, which is a good problem to have. But I think the writing's on the wall with Cody Whitehair. Eddie Jackson, maybe not so much. Maybe there's still something there with him. But
the rest of that secondary is so good.
Yeah,
like, so you sign Jalen Johnson, you pray for Jaquan, you let Kyler continue to develop, you let Tyreek continue to develop. But I mean, even the depth in that secondary. I am a huge fan and have been of Jalen Jones and Josh Blackwell. Love those dudes, man. I think they can all ball, and like, I think the secondary is fine. I don't even think we need to invest there other than that free safety. Or if you want to get a project strong safety, cool, on the back end of the draft or something. But I love where they're at in the secondary other than upgrading that free safety.
For the record, I misspoke on Eddie. He's under contract next year, but his dead cap hit is so little that you can get out of it.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah,
but maybe they won't have to again, and they can keep him around.
Unless you can upgrade it with a game changer, like free agency or can't miss safety in the draft. I'm fine with Bojack. I'm every plant scares me.
So we got a lot of super chats we got to get to, and we have a big CHGO Cubs show coming up at 1:20 as well.
Did something happen over there today?
I believe that the White Sox hired Craig Counsell.
Go Sox.
It was a big turning of events. No, that's not what happened. Craig Counsell introduces Cub manager. The Cubs guys will have you covered with that coming up here.
Luke Stuckmeyer's in the building.
CHGO is sponsored by Goose Island Beer Company, Chicago's beer since 1988. Oktoberfest, beer hug. What you got over there today? Another beer hug?
I've got beer hug.
Yep.
312
wheat ale, full pocket pills, the everyday beer, what the Goose Island Brewers are drinking. Maybe the actual Brewers, since they lost their manager. Grab ultra fresh brewery exclusive beers at Goose Island's original brew house on Clyburn Avenue in Lincoln Park, or from their tap room on Fulton Street in Westtown. Goose Island Beer Company, Chicago's beer.
And when you're doing your gambling this week, do it, of course, with our friends at DraftKings Sportsbook. Get involved and get yourself the dollars that you need. Yes, we're now deep into the NFL season, but let's try to make every second count the rest of the way here. DraftKings Sportsbook can make the most out of it. Every game day, bet on your favorite teams for a shot at winning the big bucks. New customers can score $150 instantly in bonus bets for betting 5 in any matchup. This is what you do. You get in on the action with the DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Download that app now. Use the code CHGO. New customers, $150 instantly in bonus bets for betting just $5 on the NFL. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook with the code CHGO. The crown is yours. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. In West Virginia, visit www.1800gambler.net. Please play responsibly. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling, calling 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, Kansas, must be 21 or older in most eligible states, but age varies by jurisdiction. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details and state-specific responsible gambling resources. Eligibility and deposit restrictions apply. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. Terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/football terms.
Oh, can I ask you a question?
I think we have to do a DraftKings
Player of the week.
I think it's a pick of the week. We did a king of the game last week.
Oh, the old
We
pick.
could do both.
I thought we would do the player of the week and just give it to David Montgomery for dominating up in Detroit and having a 75-yard burst and going over 100 yards for the third time this season and winning on the road at the Chargers.
If you're doing player of the week, it's Kyler Murray.
That is true, actually,
help.
for us. Thank
Huge
you
help.
so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Kyler.
Kyler, we love you.
Which one can I say?
You're the man.
Pick of the week, you want to take the Bears 10 and get 10.5?
I do. That's actually what I was going to say.
You take.
I'm feeling good about it already. I think the Bears cover this week.
Let's go. Bears.
I didn't say they win. I'm not going to pick them to win, but there's a lot of factors. Bears defense has been playing better. Lions, we're just on the West Coast. They got a long flight back. Bears have a huge rest advantage in this game. Okay, that matters. Justin Fields, I think, is going to be coming back. Everyone's seems to forget that the offense was playing pretty well before he got hurt.
They were. 700 yards, 8 touchdowns, 1 pick.
They were
That's not
playing well.
playing
They were playing well the 2 games against Washington and Denver, and then they showed up against Minnesota at 56 yards in 2 quarters plus.
Look, the Lions are good, but it's not like their defense is lights out. I didn't say the Bears are going to win. I'm not picking the Bears to win, but too many points is sometimes you got to love you DraftKings, right? You got to play certain trends and strategies sometimes over what you're actually talking about on the depth charts. And I just see with the rest advantage, with the Lions feeling really good about themselves right now, gutsy win against the Chargers, flying all the way back, West Coast. I think the Bears keep this one closer than people think.
I'm going to double down on that. I'm going to see your cover, and I'm going to raise you a win. Bears go to Ford Field, come back with a dub.
Now that's nuts.
I'm calling it on Monday, and I'm sticking with it all week.
Let's go.
I think that beer hug's kicking in over there.
I'm sticking with it all week. Bears go to Ford Field and get a dub on Sunday.
Let me just say that if that happens, Fields comes back, plays well.
He'll have to.
Right. Bears win 27-24.
Yeah.
That would be
The worst case scenario, according to Carm.
no. Well, it'd be my second best case scenario. It'd be my second best case
Now
scenario.
I'm just confused.
And Bragg's in the stands. Network.
Oh, he went network.
He went
on us?
network.
Welcome to
we got a
Meatball
network.
Boys.
This guy is unbelievable. He's truly unbelievable. I can't wait for tomorrow's show because we're gonna have a new segment that's gonna debut.
I'm so serious. I think the Bears go there, they run the ball. I think they pick off Jared Goff for time or two.
Hey,
I think the Bears go get a dub in Ford Field. I believe that.
I'm here for it. Channel 4 News.
Justin
has
Fields plays out of his mind.
Herb, do you think that Flus is more Ron Burgundy or is he more Brick?
Brick.
He is Brick, right?
But don't encourage Hoge to call him that in the press conference. I heard that foolishness. What's wrong with you?
Brick? Who's starting a Q? Nick, if you're watching, can you ask that? You can't do that?
No, Nick isn't going to do that either, nor should he.
I don't know, man. I think there's some Ron Burgundy. I think Flus has got some class and some style, and then he reads the news, and it doesn't come out always perfect. Right?
That's
That's
real.
Ron Burgundy.
That's real.
You think he plays a jazz flute?
Where did you get
When he goes
those
home?
suits? Oh, I can't see Flus going jazz flute, but maybe. Although that's kind of uncomfortable with everything.
Yeah.
Never mind.
All
Continue.
right. Let's get to some
Herb
of these-
is officially a meatball. Damn it. How did I get here? I just said I think they'll win.
By the way, if the Bears win, we're bringing back that call right now on Monday.
Yeah.
Pretty damn good.
Load it up, Law. It'll be relevant on Monday. Guaranteed.
I'm not going to cut that until Sunday afternoon.
We're gonna want to have that cut one way or the other.
You could probably take the bet though that.
Really, I really don't
can
think we would
wait.
need it if
Bears.
that they don't win.
Yeah. All right,
Bears.
what do we got here? A lot of super chats to get through with our best and worst case scenarios. Griffin Johnson, 1999. Love the show, guys. Love listening to it every day at work. It really gets me through the day. I've only been a Bears fan for a couple of years, and yet I feel the decades of pain. In flirty Flus, we trust. Bear down.
We appreciate you, Griffin. Thanks for rocking with us, man. Y'all help us get through the same way.
I wonder if he'll be flirty Flus today after a long weekend.
No, he's going to be back. He's going to be strictly business. He's going to be straight business. We'll find out on Wednesday about this injury, that injury, this injury, that injury, this injury. He'll be straight business today. I think the Bears are going to lock
What's
in
up
this week.
your sleeve?
So you don't think we're going to find anything about Justin out today when he talks?
No, he's going to make the Lions prepare for both of those quarterbacks, which he should. Make them prepare for both, and they can find out on Friday or whatever.
Okay, I agree. I don't think he's saying anything today.
I think he'll say something like, we're optimistic.
Yeah.
Carm?
He's trending in the right direction.
$9.99 from Oscar. Best scenario for the Chicago Bears and Justin Fields is that he balls out the final part of the season, and the Bears end up with the 3rd and 7th pick.
I was third part of the best case scenario, Oscar. I was with you on the first part of that, but can the Panthers hold us down for the first pick?
Oscar, they then draft Harrison Jr. and Alt.
See, imagine a world where they can keep Justin, trade back,
Yeah,
and get Marvin Harrison. Jr.
yeah.
That'd be sweet.
You're leaving a couple draft picks on the table with your
You
scenario
gotta
here,
finish
Oscar.
number one.
Yeah, we need
Think
the
about the
Panthers
ransom
number
for
one pick.
Caleb Williams if you're number one.
Right, you
For real.
You want that number one pick, and you got a shot at that number one pick. Although the Giants do scare me and their quarterback situation. I think that
And the Patriots? Ugh.
them too.
Yeah, but the Giants. How many wins the Giants get right now?
2.
2. I thought they had 3. Well, yeah, that's scary. I ain't gonna lie.
I don't think the Giants are winning again this year.
They are terrible.
They are not good.
Oof.
Super chat. Ryan comes through with $10. Ryan, we appreciate you. So the best case scenario is we pay a QB who hasn't proven to be consistent at anything other than below average. So Herb and Hoge want us to be the Giants. So nobody said to pay him. The Bears control his rights for the next 2 years under his rookie deal. You got plenty of time to decide to give him $300 million. Nobody's saying
Well, if they pick up the 50. In fact, that's why I would say is actually I don't want them to be Giants because the Giants didn't pick up Daniel Jones' 5th-year option, and then they got put in a position where they Well, they still didn't have to pay him, and they did.
They chose
No one's saying to do that here.
Nobody's saying that. Nobody's saying to do that, Ryan. I feel what you're getting at, but we're not saying that the Bears can control his rights for 2 more years without, backing up the Brinks truck.
Their 5th-year option is really not that big of a deal.
No,
That's how I see it.
$19 million.
Yeah, it's at the minute. That's the price of a starting quarterback, but it's 1 year versus you're not making this $300 million investment in the kid.
That's
I'm
like
not advising
half of
that.
what Daniel Jones is getting to be hurt.
You bring him back, and if now by this time of the year next year, he's balling out for those first 10 weeks, then you want to start, getting those papers together because the price is only going to go up.
Yeah.
$5 super chat from King Brandon Tucky. What's up, King? Am I out of my mind thinking of the Bears getting the number 1 pick to give the Chargers a call for Herbert? Maybe entice them with Caleb.
I don't think the Chargers are going to do that.
I mean, I know the kid's in LA, but I don't think the Chargers are going to do that. Herbert is the least of their problems, and they still control him for a while.
I mean, yeah, you're not doing that if you're the LA Chargers. Too high risk. Dupes.
This came in during your best case scenario, by the way.
I agree with Carm. Thank you, Dupes. Mostly because ownership in the city needs to have their face rubbed in a mistake they made to understand something isn't good. Dupes, this ownership group is not ever going to take that feedback. So
Bad dog, George. Bad dog.
I've been hearing so much talk about when the Bears sell, and I can't wait. The Bears are never selling when Virginia McCaskey, this, that, and the third. What do you think that the Bears are not selling this franchise? This is not going. The McCaskies are not selling the Bears.
they love their life, man. They love showing up in the South.
They aren't rich off oil or whatever else. They're rich because of the Bears. That's what they got. That's their thing. That'll continue to be their thing. The Bears will win the Super Bowl or not with the McCaskies as the owners.
Now, related, Jerry, sell the team.
Yeah. Please sell both.
Yeah, please, for the love of God. Mr. Myrtle, $5. The Texans won 3 games in 2022. Did they need to learn how to win, or does a QB and a competent coaching staff make the difference?
I hear you, Mr. Myrtle.
They did win their last game, and we appreciated it.
Yep.
No, I mean, listen, there's a good point. I think that, momentum, what do they say in baseball? Momentum is only as good as the next day starter. I get that, but I do think there's something to a young team kind of learning how to win and carrying it over to the next. And I think the better example would be with the Lions. You talk about the Houston Texans. You're talking about a team that cleaned house. They changed head coach. They changed quarterback. So that's a bit of a different situation. But if you're talking about moving forward in the scenarios that we were laying out with the same quarterback and probably the same head coach, then you are going to draw on some of the things that happened at the end of the previous season. So I don't think winning is the worst thing. I don't think it's necessarily the best thing either.
I just think it's a luxury you're in by possibly having the number 1 pick anyway.
Without sucking.
Yeah.
I mean, without tanking.
Do you all know who Mr. Myrtle is?
What does that mean?
He's a contributor to the show, and we appreciate it.
It says Mr. Myrtle is a former professional baseball player. He's the owner of Hercules the Beast and Goliath the Great Fear. This guy, you know who that guy is, Hoge?
I mean, it's the picture of him was James Earl Jones.
Yeah.
In,
from Sam.
Oh, I saw that.
No,
Yeah.
from The Natural? Wait, I mean, Field of Dreams. Field of Dreams.
It's from The Sandlot. You're right.
Oh, it's from Sandlot.
He was blind. He wasn't blind in Sandlot.
No, Sandlot, he was blind.
Oh, okay.
He was blind.
He
in
was
Sandlot?
blind.
He was blind in
He was
Sandlot.
blind in
Okay.
Sandlot, man.
Sandlot.
Yeah.
I only watched Sandlot like twice, so I missed.
Great.
that's
Glad we
right.
know
I'm
about
sure.
one of our chatters. Okay, keep going. Jesse Q.
Wait. I'm still confused. Were you trying to say that's actually him? A fictional character?
Yes, I think Mr. Myrtle was in the chat.
You think that James Earl Jones is in the chat?
Yes,
Or do you think
No, he thinks a character from a movie is in the chat.
is real life?
I think it could be.
Wait, that's his name, Mr. Myrtle, in the movie?
I just want this guy to get love for his effort that he has put in.
I see. Okay.
Oh, yeah, it's great. It's almost as good as the
James
Phil
Earl
Snow
Jones'
guy.
name, Mr. Myrtle, in the movie?
I didn't know that.
Lawrence is mad about something. I'm shocked.
It's
I
just
don't
like,
know.
what are we
Yeah, I
doing?
don't
Who cares? Like, who cares?
Sorry.
It's not chatter has a name. Right.
Okay.
Jesse Quesada. I hope I said that right, because I like the way it sounds. Bears have more holes on this roster, like more hotels. The Bears have more holes on the roster to worry about than a quarterback. The Bears have lots of holes on the roster, which is why not needing to address the quarterback would be in their best case scenario.
You're correct. Lots of holes.
Tom
Need good players.
Papalardo,
A lot of them.
What's up, Tom?
$5. If Fields started 2022 with an OC that designed an offense around his strengths, like Monken did for Lamar, then there is no question the Bears keep QB1.
Luke Getzey, you're on the clock, man. Do a good job.
That's what I'm saying. There's so many competing factors in these scenarios. Like, can Justin do good and you lose the coaching staff? I don't know. I think
It's fine. Let's keep the coaching staff. Just show that you know how to win with them.
I think my biggest fear is those, like, I could sit here and say there's a lot that could still happen here in 7 games, and we'll learn a lot, but, like,
If we're sitting here with
how much have we learned through the first 10 games?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
If we're sitting here just as maybe 7 weeks from now.
I don't know what we've learned through 10 games.
The more I think about it, like as we go
missed
through
half of them.
To me, it's the next 3. When you're playing these teams who need to win, can you do it now? I don't care what happens against the Cardinals and the Falcons and the Packers at the end of the year. Right now, against Detroit, in Detroit, or at home, or Minnesota, on the road, show me something.
So you're saying 2 and 3 and you're all in no matter what happens?
Yeah, 2 and 1.
I mean, I'm sorry. 2 out of 3.
Win 2 out of 3.
Right.
I'm not saying I'm saying that would matter. That would be a good information that things are heading in the right direction.
Would that be enough to convince you that Fields is the guy,
If he plays
regardless if they lose to Falcons, Cardinals, Browns?
Well, I mean, if he completely shits the bed at the end of the year, that wouldn't be great. But if he plays well in these next couple of games and they get wins, that's a huge deal.
The next 4 are murderer's row compared to what Bajan just went through, right?
Yeah, that's correct. That's correct.
So if Justin goes 2 and 2,
yeah, I mean,
we're talking about 2 Detroits, at Minnesota, at Cleveland. 1 home game. 3 road games, Minnesota, Detroit, Cleveland. 1 home game for Detroit. He goes 2 and 2. That works for you?
That absolutely.
I think
Depends how he plays. I mean,
0-4 is on the table.
Oh, 0 and 4 is
I'm okay if they go 0 and 4 and he's throwing
more likely than not. I'll say that. I'll bet 0 and 4 at 51% at least.
If they're scoring.
Does that mean he's doubtful or
out?
Or outful?
Do you think he throws for over 300 yards in any of the next 4?
Maybe at Detroit and maybe at Minnesota.
Watch out now. The Vikings D all of a sudden.
They look legit.
They're in this 5-game win streak. Brian Flores has them like top 5 in a lot of different categories.
They're going to need 3 or 4 takeaways in Cleveland, so there's not going to be a highest scoring game there. The offense won't be a 300-yard game.
No way.
So it'll have to be.
I think it'd have to be against the Lions.
Yeah.
One of the 2 games against the Lions.
Yeah.
Eli Sherman, $4.99. Best case, Fields is the guy. Getzey has the word screen removed from his brain. Draft Marvin Harrison Jr., Johnny Newton, D coordinator with a more aggressive philosophy. Be interesting if Flus hires a new DC in the offseason. Gonna have to give somebody the title, but
Yeah, you have to get somebody to tell. I think he likes calling plays, and I think he's good at it.
You stay right there, Flus.
Since he's taken over defensive play calling, the defense has been on point. I like the timely blitzes. I like the timely zones, the zone blitzes that he's bringing, where he's dropping the linemen right back into these, hook and curl zones. He's put guys. He put Jack Sanborn in position for a pick, dropped it. He put what's the kid, the kid they brought over at the beginning of the season that was on IR most of the time. Anyway, he dropped him into the path right for an interception. He dropped it and against the Chargers. It's only so much stuff you can do. I think Flus has been good since he's taken over the play call.
I am pro sweaty Flus, defensive coordinator, engaged Flus. It's a good Flus.
Yeah, he's over there cursing people out and stuff.
Kentucky Bears fan, $4.99. Best case is Caleb Williams and Harbaugh. Bears offensive personnel.
You like it.
Is league average.
You like it.
I'm not liking Harbaugh.
Good enough roster for JF1 to have shown more.
Bears personnel is league average?
But it's good enough for Justin Fields to have shown more. I don't know.
Michigan's 4-0 without Harbaugh this year. We don't need Jim Harbaugh.
Can we briefly discuss what happened post-game?
With the coach that cried?
Like he's dead.
I still haven't watched the interview. But
that was over the top. Either that guy is 100% that guy all the time. I mean, and I'll leave room for that. And okay, cool, you be you. But I was like,
But dude,
you are landing on pretty thick.
Y'all are cheating and got caught. You're not victims. Like, what are we doing? Like, what the hell is that about?
Hey, admit nothing, deny everything,
I don't know.
and counter accuse.
That's your new. We need an avatar of your picture with "What are we doing?"
Okay.
There's maybe that's a shirt. I think that's a shirt.
Sure.
What are we doing?
Willie, $5. I like Fields and want him to succeed, but we cannot just focus on 2 games where he's played well and overlook the other 4 games where he has 3 touchdowns.
The reason why they're doing that, Willie, is because they are pointing the finger right at Luke Getsy, and it's worthy.
Or we were defining the best case scenario.
People are struggling with the concept.
That's okay. I struggle with it too. I've been all over the map on this show, so I appreciate.
I mean, I can't decide if you're giving Matty Raflus an extension or firing him.
I'm definitely not giving him an extension. I'm just saying that the most important thing to me is that their offense gets. I'm totally fine with Flus being on the staff as the DC going forward here. No problem. You can hang out,
guys. Here's the thing that we can all say: this is a weird, confusing team. The head coach is weird and confusing, and sometimes.
Can you do a Flus face?
No.
Sometimes
Please
I
give me
wake
a
up and I'm like, okay, they're on the right track. And then other days I'm like, this is a disaster.
Can we start?
And he's got a press conference in about 1 minute, and I'll probably be more on the disaster side once that's over.
Be a head scratcher.
Like, it is a weird situation, and we don't have to always talk in absolutes. Like, he's fired for sure, or he's back for sure, or Justin sucks, or Justin's great. Maybe it's just a murky football team that's going to be murky forever.
And it's Ryan Poles' decision. It isn't ours. We get a little bit more access than you guys, and so we get a little bit of a peek behind the curtain, and we get to be there, and that's cool. But at the end of the day, all we're doing is giving you our educated guess on what's about to happen. We don't actually know what Ryan Poles thinks about Flus or Justin or any of these people. Like,
Just speak for yourself. I know exactly what's going on. They call me every night.
all right.
I talk to Flus before I go to bed.
Okay.
And gets
That explains a lot.
Yep.
That explains a lot.
Bear Down Omaha, $2. My man loves some Hoge, but this D still can't get a sack. Maybe they will this week, Bear Down. But you're right. We need more. We need more QBs on the ground. They did get 3 last week, for the record.
Yeah. Also, real quick, before I forget, I want to give Jay Bird a shout out. It's his birthday, and he asked for a birthday shout out.
Happy B-Day, Jay Bird.
Show today.
Jay Bird.
Mason Murphy, 199. Do you guys think Fields could be a different quarterback under a new head coach?
We do.
Yes, 100%.
We do, Mason.
Justin Fields is a very good football player. I don't care if that happens here in Chicago or somewhere else. That's his. The fact that he hasn't taken off here is more of an indictment on the organization and coaching staff than it is on him as a player. I'm not absolving him. He's certainly a part of it. His signature is on it. But that kid can play football, and if you don't know that, I don't know what you're looking at.
Isaac Siegel, $2. Draft Marvin Harrison Jr. and later Michael Penix. And Wright becomes the left tackle. Well, who's the right tackle then?
They'll figure that out in his scenario. I don't think they're moving him.
I don't like left-handed quarterbacks. I've been saying that for a couple of weeks. Although I did remember Mark Brunell as I was watching football like yesterday or something like that, and I left him off the list. I think I only said Steve Young and Mike Vick. I like Mark Brunell a lot, at least in his Jacksonville days.
Well, let's think. If you're drafting Penix, why wouldn't you leave Darnell Wright?
Tua.
That almost makes Darnell
That's his
Wright
blind side.
more valuable as a right tackle because that would be his blind side.
Not a big Tua guy. Yeah,
Really?
no, I'm not a big Tua guy. Listen, you give a quarterback a decent. I'm not saying he's bad. I think he's good. I'm not like
He's got weapons. That's fine.
yeah. You give him that mad scientist head coach. He got 2 guys with 4-2 on the outside. We can do whatever we want.
Flame Chuck, 76.
Flame.
$2. Isn't 3 years enough to judge Fields' readiness?
Yeah,
Well,
but
when one of those years was basically a throwaway year, and last year was a new coaching staff, and this year he's been hurt half the time, I don't know how you can give it a full evaluation.
we got to be able to put things in its proper context. So if you say it's 3 years enough, then sure, 3 years should be enough to decide if you want to marry a person or not. But 3 years for this football team when they've changed head coaches and they were so inept and incompetent and everything else, I don't know that you can make that assessment just yet.
Since you threw that in there, I do recommend you pick up the 5th-year option on dating. It's a safer play.
Smart man.
I mean,
I only went 4 before I got married, and
yeah.
12 years later, it was done.
You see, should have gone 5th year.
I should have went 5th year
Should
option.
have gone 5th year
option.
Eric J, $4.99. We appreciate you. My best case scenario, we trade down and get a 2nd round pick back. Trade a left tackle and DN. Draft one of the LSU receivers or Oregon's Troy Franklin. Trade down for a 2nd round pick.
We got to get you in touch with Spielberger on this.
See how far we're talking on that, brother.
Yeah, you're deep in the weeds here. I like you as somebody who could work for our lads down the line. Duke.
The Duke.
Hey, did you know that's actually John Wayne?
Oh, that's right.
That's
This is
John.
John Wayne.
There you
Yeah, that's him.
What are we doing here?
1999.
Teasing you, of course.
I'm glad Duke brought this up because I was about to before the show ended. Connor Bedard is so dang good.
So good.
Justin Flourish at Ohio State surrounded by studs. So just do that here. Marvin Harrison Jr., Olu, you are Chicago Bears. Hi, Herb.
What's up, Duke? How you doing? Appreciate you.
Don't worry about it, Duke. You don't have to say hello to me. It's no biggie.
Did you see the goal yesterday?
Yes,
Which
I did.
one?
Was there 2?
They were both awesome.
Yeah, but the one where he wasn't looking was better. The no-look goal?
The second one?
My kid.
No, the first one when he stole it from the defenseman and
yeah.
went top shelf was he was looking like he was going to pass it.
Just the level of the speed of his processor
He's
in that moment was amazing.
He's a half second ahead of everybody else on the ice. Like you just see that
and the tough angle, like that goal to me, that blew my mind. I love that goal.
I don't know why they're playing a noon game on Sunday against NFL football,
yeah, that's not smart.
but I mean, shout out to the NHL for that weird
Also the
strategy.
DVR and running back.
That's bizarre. Now that being said, I clicked over, so the Hawks must have something because there was a moment where that Blackhawks game was on during a noon window on NFL Sunday.
I most
That
definitely
says a lot.
did not click over.
It's on my DVR. I haven't even watched it yet.
You're
shout-
DVRing Hawk games?
When else am I? You think I'm gonna just actually sit down and watch a hockey game?
Shout out.
I go through.
Shout out Herb.
I go through. I watch the games. I fast forward through the kids' shifts,
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
and when the kid is not on a shift, I just keep fast forwarding.
they should have like red zone where.
Yeah,
like
they should.
On NFL red zone, they should just cut in every time Bedard's on the ice.
Yeah, when Bedard's on the ice,
Be good.
NHL.
I mean, where's that channel?
For
By the way,
real.
that channel probably exists within 10 years. You'll probably tell AI exactly what you want to see, and it'll just skip through all the games and right at the exact moments when you.
And it'll have a solo cam on that player the whole time.
Brandon Spano, I think we should invent that.
How many Hawks can you name outside of Connor Bedard as we say goodbye?
Look,
A
no matter
ton.
how,
Kevin Korchinski, all the guys, whatever. We have
Isaac
CHGO
Siegel,
Blackhawks for that.
$5. Yep, that's why I did quotes around left tackle Hoge, de facto left tackle with left-handed QB.
He ran out of characters.
Okay, so he wasn't saying he actually moved. All right. What else?
Styles G.
Styles G, $5. Get Harbaugh and Greg Roman. Draft Marvin Harrison. Yeah, okay. Everybody wants Marvin Harrison Jr. We get it.
Yes, we do.
White hair, Lucas Patrick.
Keeps going crazy.
Okay. Steven, 2 pounds sterling, just logged on. Where can I get that bag?
Ooh.
That bag. It's a
Varsity.
beautiful bag.
Varsity Coolers.
Oh, it's a beauty.
You have to tune in to tomorrow's show to learn more.
It's got great details on it too. Yeah, y'all can't see the sides, but it's got great details about
look at the inside.
defensive and offensive alignment. It's got Hall of Fame numbers on it. It's got Super Bowl 20 on it.
Yeah, it only has one Super Bowl on it for some reason. Oh, wait. Oh, right. I know why.
As many as
It's
we
also
can,
got the,
as many as we can get on it.
VarsityCoolers.us. Use code CHGO. You'll get 10% off.
It's beautiful. It's a beautiful.
Thanks.
VarsityCoolers.us.
Hey, Law.
Shout out to SG Goodman.
Why are there
She kicked ass on Friday night.
Why are there
at
3
Lincoln Hall.
possums on your shirt?
Why does that?
She's from Kentucky. She's a twangy singer-songwriter. Her band rocks.
Why does anyone care about that?
I don't know. It's probably cares more about than random chatters in their avatars. But we can
Random
keep going.
chatters. People that are contributing to the show over SG Goodman.
Wow.
Yeah.
You got the tough.
People
Question
are
I wanted to
messing
ask you,
with
Hogue.
comments.
Question I wanted to ask you, Hogue, was: do you think that the coaching staff will have enough, I don't know, foresight or maybe common sense to actually create reps for Javon Dexter and Zach Pickens so that they can try to answer these questions?
I hope so. I hope so.
Listen,
They did play more.
I don't see any scenario where you're trying to extend Justin Jones, right?
I don't think so.
So you got to find out these kids can do the job, or if you need to find somebody who can do the job.
I agree. We do have to go because we got CHGO Cubs coming up, and we also got to tell you about FOCO on the way out. Get fitted out in the best sports gear around: hoodies, shoes, signs, bobbleheads, everything in between. Aloha shirts, straw hats, polos, bags, everything you need for a game. You name it, FOCO's got it. FOCO has donated a few awesome pieces for our sets as well. Go show them some love in return. Check out FOCO.com or click the link in the description below. For all non-presale items, use promo code CHGO for 10% off.
And be a diehard. Let's do it right now. AllCHGO.com. If you support us, we support you. We want to be here. We need you. We love you. AllCHGO.com. 20% off merch. Free t-shirt when you sign up. Diehard content left and right. Hoge's coming over to your house. And yes, November 21st, we're going to have a private Zoom hangout, happy hour, domination. And we've got hats. We've got everything.
We got hats.
We are in love with you and hope that you're in love with us. AllCHGO.com. Become a diehard.
You do have to be a diehard to be in the happy hour, by the way.
Correct.
That freaked out Sarah.
And
Khalid, $4.99 last super chat. Give May and trade down the other first. Give me May, trade down the other first pick. Get the best player available. Love watching you guys. You and Robert Schmitz are my Bears news. All right, Khalid.
Look at you, Robert.
We never
Schmitz.
got to our worst sports
losses,
but right now Saturday's feeling like number one for me.
It's pretty bad.
Yeah, we could do that in the Die Hard happy hour. We'll just talk about sad things.
I'll cry for you guys. I'm not a big crier. I meant to get that in earlier when you guys were talking about crying. I don't.
Game 7, 1990 Pistons. I don't know what I wanted to do, but it was death. Straight sports death.
All right. We got to go.
Super
Love
Bowl.
you guys. We'll be
Colts.
back here noon tomorrow. Cole Clement will be with us at noon. Join us, CHGO Bears. Talk to you tomorrow.
We all silly like the mayor.